Welcome back to an episode of Clutch Gene Sports. I'm your host, Marco Martinez. I'm here with 2024 NFL Draft prospect Gabe Jeudy Lolly. How's it going, my man?
It's going well. Thank you for having me. Excited to get on and talk a little bit about ball.
Hey, man, thanks for joining the show, man. Really appreciate it. Um, kind of noticed you at the Hula Bowl, hit you up, and then started talking to people who were at the Hula Bowl and covering the Hula Bowl. And they're like, "Yeah, man, Gabe Jeudy over here, he's making plays and stuff like that." And then one of them said, "Hey, I saw him talking to a 49er scout. Show is mainly Niners, but I do a lot of other NFL stuff as well. Can you name some of the teams that you've met with at the Hula Bowl?"
Yeah, I met with the Niners, of course, Browns, Texans, Bucks, Lions, Chargers, um, Eagles, Giants. Those are good. I think those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. But it was a good showing. I think in total I met with 15 or 16 of the teams. So it was a good time over at the Hula Bowl for sure.
So you were at the Hula Bowl. How did that event go? Who was the hardest receiver to cover? How did you enjoy the event and everything like that?
Oh, I enjoyed the event a lot. I think that when you have a whole bunch of guys coming in from a bunch of different areas, it's sometimes challenging to get everything coordinated. And I think that they did a really good job for having us there for a whole week. At the end of the day, I think wide receiver from Ole Miss, last name Wade, he was probably one of the better wide receivers I covered all week long. He was just shifty, able to catch the ball um, through traffic and make moves in space. So I thought he was pretty good. And he was a little bit shorter. So, at the end of the day, when I'm a taller guy, it's a little bit harder to guard the guys that are shorter when they're really twitchy. So, yeah, I think he was probably one of the better ones. But I think overall, a lot of guys are really good. A lot of guys got caught up, went to different bowl games as well, too. So it was cool to see.
So I know you were at BYU in 2022. I know you transferred over to the University of Tennessee. You started um, 10 games at BYU. You started all 10 games at Tennessee. Um, how did that transition work for you? How did you manage that? Because obviously, when you go to the NFL and stuff like that, you're going into a new system, into a new program. How does that gonna benefit you in terms of going into the NFL and having to master a whole new defensive system?
Yeah, so actually in my college football career, I've had five different defensive coordinators, six different position coaches. So, like, it's been different every single year, maybe sometimes halfway through the year. I think it's just given me the resiliency to be able to make plays regardless of whoever's going to be my coach, whatever the scheme's going to be. I'm able to pick it up really fast and be able to make plays on top of that. I think it's also given me a good grasp on understanding a lot of different defenses from 4-3s to 4-2-5s to 3-3-5. Just really just depends because football is always changing, so you have to be able to understand who you're going against, but also have to understand the intricacies of the football team and the defenses at the end of the day.
As your time at BYU, Tennessee, any teammates that you got to get to know who are receivers that gave you trouble that you like they're in the NFL now or they're still in college that you want to give a shout out to that helped you? Obviously, iron sharpens iron, right? On the practice field, that's where you get better. Any of those guys you want to shout out that actually made you who you are in terms of helping you get prepared weekly?
Um, well, before actually both of those two places, I went to Vanderbilt and I graduated from Vanderbilt. And one of my actually really good buddies, name's Cam Johnson. He's training for the draft too. A really good football player. We definitely iron sharpened iron in that battle for 3 years. Created a friendship out of it. I got to practice against Puka Nakua at BYU. A really good football player. Of course, I think that he should win Rookie of the Year this year. And I think just at Tennessee, we got a lot of guys that are up and coming that are going to be really good football players. That at the end of the day, just helped me be really good at each week because we might not play a team that specifically is going to throw the ball or have a lot of firepower. So playing against our offense at Tennessee, which is the definition of firepower, is just really good. But I mean, I think those guys specifically in my career have helped me, develop from a young guy as I got older as well too.
So before you get to college, obviously you got to grow a love for the game of football. How did you grow a love for the game of football? Was it your family, like being super diehard football fans? What made you fall in love with football?
Yeah, actually, my family was never truly diehard football fans, but I moved to Texas, and my stepdad said, in Texas, football is up there with the Bible and your family, so you're gonna have to figure out how to play that one. And I was just like, okay, of course, I tried out, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my career if I have the opportunity to do so as well. Um, Being in Texas is just the camaraderie that comes with the sport. Having so many people around me, especially in my area, Heisman Trophy winners, number one overall draft picks, is just something that I was able to just see myself do. And I wanted to do that at a high level from a young kid. And I had a really good football team growing up. So I got to see a lot of my coaches that are able to do it at the next level. So I knew there was an opportunity if I put my head down and worked. So it was just something that I grew to love from a young age, being able to move to Texas and have that opportunity bestowed upon me.
Absolutely. So I've heard things about Texas being like that. So it's funny that you say that your stepfather said it's, hey, it's up there with your family and the Bible, so you better get to love it because that's what you're going to be most likely doing when you're with your friends and stuff like that. So obviously you get to all these schools, you're playing these big name players. Now, when I watch you, I see a very physical cornerback who likes to play the run. You're not afraid, you don't shy away from contact. A lot of times corners get, I would say, like this negative word on them, like, oh, that he's afraid to come down and tackle. When I've watched your film, it's actually opposite. You actually want to come down, you want to run fit, you want to make a play as a corner. What is that a mentality you have, like you've had at a young age? Is that something you had to grow into? Talk to me about your physical play coming down and tackling, because not only do I see that when you're stopping the run, but I see that when you're playing man to man as well.
Yeah, I think it just naturally just came from a young age. You know, I had a coach growing up, and we used to call it snot bubble defense. So that means you hit somebody hard enough that they got the
The
snot all
snot's
over
coming
their
out.
face and everything like that, right? So it was just something that I really prided myself on. That had the ability to come down. And growing up, I played like middle linebacker and stuff like that. So even when you're 7 or 8, you're a little bobblehead running around, so you got to throw your whole body weight to be able to tackle somebody. Anyway, and I think it just, though I evolved into being a defensive back, I always liked contact. So it wasn't ever like, oh, I really love to go stop the run. It's just I like contact. The whole game is the premise is contact. Score and get people down to the ground. So it just has been a blessing for me because it's made me have the opportunity to get on the field faster than maybe some, because I wasn't afraid to be able to make those plays inside the run fit, to be able to come down and help us out, be able to move to a position that might be needed, that needs more, physicality. So it was good for me. And I just like always been a fan, roll me up in cover two. Hopefully they run the ball into the short side. And then, I get to make plays from there and on too.
So you mentioned cover two. Do you prefer that your preferred coverage for you to be in? I know I when I watch you, it looks like you like to be in man to man press coverage. If you had an ideal system to be in, what's that ideal system for you to be in terms of coverages?
Um, you know, I mean, of course, any corner likes cover two at the end of the day, because it's an opportunity for us to play true zone coverage, vision defense in the flats. But um, a 4-2-5 system is definitely what I want. Well, what I think that I play best in, the ability to have another extra DB on the field, be able to bring in a different package. Cover four at the end of the day, a palm style system, so where it could turn into cover two when the ability is when you see a flat route coming out, but it's also man to man when you see your man go past 5 yards. So I think that gives you the best ability to play man, which I do believe that I'm good at the same time, giving the ability to roll up when I see the route developing and my guys going away from me. So I think that's like the best of both worlds at the end of the day. But what we did at Tennessee is we played man. So you got to go out there and do it. So I like to play man, especially with the guys that we had up front. I was never afraid to play man at all, but like I was never even worried about the opportunity to play man, because we had guys up front that were going to get to the quarterback. And so you weren't covering for 10 seconds. So it was 3, 4 seconds max.
Absolutely. So you say You like to be in those kind of systems. Now, if a GM scout asks you, what's your strength and what's an area that you're working on growth? So not necessarily a weakness, but it's something that you're working on and you want to get better at.
Yeah, I definitely say something I want to get better at is just my pad level. Um, since I am a taller guy, that sometimes I fall victim to playing like a taller guy rather than staying within my frame, and it just sometimes brings challenges when you want to get out of your break. Because I'm pretty snappy in and out of my break, but there's
Mhm.
just a difference between here where it could have been an interception and there where it could have been a pass breakup or a 1 yard catch or something like that. It's just those little things. Because playing corner is about the little details at the end of the day. It's not just brute force. You go out there, you could throw somebody and go get to the quarterback. You're off by a couple inches here, a couple angles there, and it's the difference between a catch, interception, and those types of things. So I'd say my pad level for sure. And also it helped me when it comes down to being physical in the run game and such, because of course I get people down to the ground, but lower pad level bringing more pop to the situation. And I think at the end of the day, my strengths are, I mean, the ability to, my knowledge of the game, it just helps me because I'm able to put myself in the right positions. Whereas sometimes, some people might not know it's just an instinct based thing. And then also, my strength is when I do have vision with the quarterback, there's not many plays I can't make at the end of the day because I mean, I am long and I'm tall, and I have that great football IQ, so it gives me the ability to jump routes and things like that.
If you had one player in the NFL or even that's retired in a retired NFL player, who would you compare your game to and why?
I've been getting this question a lot recently, but I say like a mix of like a Denzel Ward and like a Stephon Gilmore, because as Gilly got older, he had to revolutionize his game, right? I mean, winning MVP just 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. That's, I mean, not many people have heard of that. And he just has the ability that he uses his smarts to be able to make plays while also being in the right position. And then Denzel Ward has that knack for just making plays like when people least expect it. If it's sliding under a tackle or if it's jumping around when people are not thinking, he's also good at playing man to man coverage. So I think like if you mix those two together, it would be somewhere close to what I do, but I also do believe like I am one of one, and that's like the thing you're gonna get when you bring me on the team is just somebody that is different than most and help close some of those gaps that you have inside your defense.
So you do say you're one of one. So when you have someone lined up against you, whether it's the best receiver in the National Football League, for example, I'm gonna throw out names. You have Justin Jefferson, you have Tyreek Hill matched up with you. What's your plan at the line of scrimmage? What's your plan, whether it's man to man, whatever coverage? What is your initial plan? Talk to me whether it's in let's go man. So you're in man, you have no help over the top. What's your plan at the line of scrimmage? We're going cover zero, man to man across the board. You have no help over the top. What's your plan?
Well, being a smart football player, and you say we're playing cover zero, more often than not, that means I'm bringing 6 or 7. So it wouldn't be smart for me to be at the line of scrimmage because the ball's got to come out hot. So it won't be a long developing play just because the ball's getting out in 2 to 3 seconds. So that means either if you're at the line of scrimmage, you're given a free access throw to be able to throw a fade ball and hope for either pass interference. So I'm going to set myself up and I'm going to sit up probably 5 or 6, squat. From then on, the quarterback's going to see his cover zero. It's not hard to hide cover zero, or not easy to hide cover zero. So then I'm going to be able to take away the inside leverage. And then if they're throwing slants, I'm jumping them all day, and I'm making sure I have my eyes on the wide receiver at the line of scrimmage, especially against like Tyreek Hill. You got to get your hands on fast because, I mean, if you miss, he's going to run past you. So if you saw what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing to him versus Miami, getting the hands on quick, making sure that he doesn't get off the line. That means he can't get started. And he's not particularly always a route runner. He's more of a run to space guy. So you can't just play the odds about what he's going to do. It's Tua's looking to throw him the ball wherever. I think Justin Jefferson, I got to watch him play against my school my freshman year. I think he's just overall a really good receiver. But if you are physical with him at the top of the route, if you're physical with him at the line of scrimmage, you're going to give him, I think, a longer day. But he's a really good football player too. So you just got to make sure that you don't fall for the head fakes and the bobs. So I'm going to make sure that I have my eyes in the right position at the hip, not up high. So I can be able to make those plays and have to fight through the hands because he's good at catching the ball. That play versus the Bills where he went up there and got the ball and stuff. So you got to make sure that I'm going to play through the hands because he might be able to get his hands on the ball, but through the ground, if I can get the ball out, that's what's going to happen.
A great answer right there. Definitely, because you try to get you on the cover zero, see how you would react on that. Definitely love the playing off. Now, I see a lot of times players that are entering the draft, they talk to old teammates who've gone through the process. Has there been any of your old teammates that you picked up the phone, called, and like, hey, I have questions on this, and they've been helping guide you through this process?
Um, yeah, I wouldn't say like during this process right now. I think this process right now, I've been head down, like trying to just be my best version of myself that I can be every day. But I would say like before I was deciding if I wanted to get into this process, I did talk to them and they essentially just told me like you have to realize that every day is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Of course, you got to start speed walking. Got to start picking up the pace the closer that each event comes by. But you're not going to improve your 40 in one day. You're not going to improve your 40 in 1 week. You're going to improve your 40 by compound interest every single day that you put in. You're going to improve your breaks by every single day that you put in. So I just took that mindset because especially even my first week, even understanding the situation, even knowing that it's a marathon, not a sprint, I was still upset with not seeing the results I wanted to see my first week that I went to train. But then, I had to reframe and be like, hey, if I'm gonna be upset now, I'm never gonna get better. I gotta understand that when week 6 is down the road and I made those 2/10 improvement, I'm gonna be happy with myself. So it's been good. And then a lot of the guys that I've talked to that played in the league for a long time are now retired. They told me just it doesn't matter how you get there. It matters what you do with your opportunity. So just get your foot in the door. And from there, make sure that it's hard to get you out of the door at the end of the day. So I just am making sure that whatever opportunity that I do get, I'm ready and prepared for. A lot of guys might not want to go into the NFL, play special teams. A lot of guys might not want to do the grunt work, but I know that that's the opportunity for you to get on the field first. And then if you make the most of that opportunity, it's hard to take you off the field, right? So, those are the things that they told me, and I've just kind of been taking that to heart and trying to continue to strive every day to be my best. And then from there, whatever opportunity I'm presented, I'm gonna make the most of it.
So you mentioned 40 time, how you're improving that. Is there a number that you're shooting for in terms of at your pro day and everything like that?
Yeah, definitely trying to go 4-4. I think that with the added time that I get to prepare for the pro day, I think I could definitely go 4-4. And I think 4-4 will make me the money that I that I want. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to strive for. I mean, I'm going to be elite at the 3 and cone. I'm going to be elite at the 5-10-5, the L drill, all those other things. So I just gotta patch up that last thing to be able to put the ball on top of everything.
So NFL isn't going to be your entire life, right? Like obviously players play till their mid 30s at most, unless you're Tom Brady who likes to play till they're 50. What are your plans after your NFL career is over? Obviously, you said you got your bachelor's at Vanderbilt. I believe you received your master's as well in sports management. I believe. What are your plans post football?
Yeah, I definitely want to give back. So if that's like, I definitely want to move back to Texas. Have a role probably where I coach on the side with the ability that I have. Financially, I'd like to be able to open up my own business to be able to give back as well. If that's sports consulting, and I love food, so if I could open up a restaurant, restaurant bar situation, be able to have a place where people can watch the game. That'd be nice too, in an area where my kids can grow up and be able to play football or play whatever sport they want to play, and have a good community around me. Those are my things that I would like to do. If my football career goes the way that I hope it to, and if that's the case at the end of the day, I think I'll be really happy.
You say you love food. What's your pregame meal? What's your go-to pregame meal and your go-to post-game meal?
Pregame, of course, in college they just pretty much cater like the exact stuff. But I'm a big. I'll go get half marinara, half Alfredo sauce with some Tabasco, penne pasta with some Parmesan and some chicken. That's what I'm going for pregame. Um, And that's I'm talking about like the night before pregame because I don't eat much before the game. Before the game,
You
it's
play
gotta be
hungry as well.
yeah, yeah. And then after the game, depending if it's at night, I just want some Chick-fil-A and I want to go to bed. But if it's like an afternoon kick and you get to go, I want to go get a burger. Probably go get a nice burger and some fries. Get to kick in and watch the rest of my boys play. That's usually what I like to do after the game. But if not, give me the spicy Chick-fil-A sandwich and send me off my way to the crib.
Go-to song before your game. So pregame, you get to play it as loud as you want in the stadium. What song are you putting on?
It's probably a tie between Mr. Rager by Kid Cudi and Solo by Future. Uh,
Mhm.
I think like Solo by Future is not what you're really gonna turn on in the middle of the stadium, but like that's what I'm gonna blast in my headphones because it's just like it's about you and your grind. But I think Mr. Rager is just kind of gonna get me in that mode while I'm on the field that it's just a man in the arena. So I think those two for sure. That's what I'm bumping every single time, no matter what.
So I always like to ask this question, one of my favorite questions to ask, because when you get to a facility, you get to a team, you're not just a football player. You're there's a human that there is. Like everyone, I feel like a lot of fans are like, oh, he's just a football player. You know what I mean? Like, and you guys, like a lot of football players just get that narrative. Who are you as a person? What are you bringing to the organization, but not only the organization, the community. So if you come to the San Francisco 49ers, what are you bringing to their community as yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the person I bring is someone that's accountable, trustworthy, and somebody that's going to work really hard. Also, somebody that's social and community focused. I'm big about relationships. I'm big about the people that you meet and being able to pay it back regardless of the situation. So for the community, I think that what I'd bring is just a guy that wants to help out in any way possible. If that's with kids, if that's in hospitals, if that's just helping the homeless out in the area, that's one way that I think that I could be able to help out. And I think that I'm a person that those relationships will last a long time. That outside of football, when football's over with, those people will know that if they need something, if they need somebody to come help out, bring people to help out, I'll definitely be in that situation. And then to the organization as a whole, you'll have somebody that's going to be a great locker room guy, regardless of the situation, regardless of a win or a loss. Because some people are fair weather, but that's not me. Because I understand that the work has to get done regardless of the situation, if you're winning or losing. So I'm gonna be able to be there. I'm not a big rah rah guy, but I think I'm a connector by the relationships I make with people in the locker room and by just leading by example at the end of the day. So I think that those are things that I'm going to bring. And then on top of that, a good football player, right? So I think that I'm the full package when you want to go grab somebody.
Now, one team calls you, right? They're asking, "Hey, you know what? I need you to do something you're never done before in your life. I need you to play safety." Are you capable of like, okay, well, I've never done it. I could transition and like being that versatile guy, or is it more so, you know what? I'm Gabe Judy's just a corner, not a safety.
No, definitely is Gabe Jeudy is whatever the team needs Gabe Jeudy to be. Um, I think that a lot of people do label me as a tweener because of my size and my ability to come down and hit. So I've had to be able to reframe my mindset that it could be the call that I get. Hey, we're gonna bring you in. You're gonna be the fourth safety in the sixth corner or something like that, or the third safety in the fifth corner. I think that brings versatility to my plate because that's a spot that instead of them having to keep two guys, they can keep me at the end of the day. That means a guy that can come down and help in the run, help play free safety, have an extra athletic factor rather than just some of the traditional safeties. And then a guy that, hey, we're going in the dime package. We got our two safeties. Could you slide the corner? We're going to slide our corner inside the nickel. So I think that I have to reframe my mindset, gain a little bit more weight. But other than that, I think that I'd be great to be able to play safety, especially with my ability to play corner at the time and my football IQ.
Absolutely. So you get one word. I'll give you two words. I'll be nice. I'll give you two words to describe yourself. What are those two words?
Okay, that's good. I'd say competitive and accountable. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna compete my tail off regardless of the situation, and I'm gonna have to be able to live with the result after that. Because I know I'll never be upset because I didn't go out there and bust my butt every single day. And at the end of the day, you know that I'm a guy that you can count on in the facility, outside of the facility, regardless of what's going on, and a guy that, since I'm really going to compete my butt off and I'm accountable, that means on the field you never have to wonder, oh, did he get the call? Is he actually playing the defense that you need? Because that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing it at a high level, because you can't compete at a low level. That you shouldn't go out there if that's what you want to do. And so that's what you're going to get out of me for sure.
And those are two great traits to have: accountability and competitiveness, especially at the NFL level. Now, the 49ers are obviously playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. I have to ask you this question. Who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
Man, if Debo goes out and plays like Debo plays, I think the 49ers are going to get it done. But I think that if the 49ers come out like they did at the beginning versus the Lions, they don't get the opportunity to do it 2 weeks in a row. I don't think they get that opportunity. So I'm riding with the Niners. We got a VFL on there as well too. So, but there's a VFL also on the Chiefs. But I'm going with the Niners for sure. Hopefully they can get it done. I think that the Kansas City wave needs to be passed now, in my personal opinion.
Well, that's 2024 NFL draft prospect Gabe Jeudy Lally out of Tennessee. He's a cornerback, stands at 6'2", believe you weighing in at 190 roughly.
Yes, sir.
190. Coming to your team. He's the cornerback prospect you guys need a draft. Make sure you guys remember the name, because the NFL draft is around the corner. Thank you for joining me on the show today. I really appreciate it, Gabe.
Thanks for having me, and wish you the best.
Thank you. I appreciate that.